Hello everybody, welcome to this special update of State Bank of India quarterly results for 2017-2018. This edition is being prepared on 24th May 2018. State Bank 2017-2018 quarterly fourth quarter results were declared on 22nd May 2018. State Bank of India posted a loss of 7,718 crores. It is its biggest loss in history. For the 2017-18 quarter 3, SBI posted a loss of 2,416 crores. However, the biggest loss posted by an Indian bank goes to Punjab National Bank. Punjab National Bank posted losses more than 13,000 crores last quarter, and that is largely because of the loan scam by Nirav Modi. Now let's see how and what happened after this quarterly update. Leading up to the results declaration, SBI has lost about 10% of its value. SBI was about 253 on May 15, 2018, and it closed about 244 on May 21st before hitting a low of 237. The results were declared on May 22nd, 2018. SBI posts a loss of 7,718 crores, and after it posts such a big loss, SBI gains about 12% in the next 3 days. Why is this happening? Let us see. Let's have a look at why SBI went up 12% after posting its biggest loss. There are a few items involved which led SBI to this 12% increase. Firstly, there was an insolvency bankruptcy code that was passed in the parliament in the year 2016. Bhushan Steel is one of India's largest steel makers, and that had declared bankruptcy, and Tata Steel acquired this Bhushan Steel recently. We will see both the insolvency bankruptcy code and Bhushan Steel in detail in the next few moments. The anticipated bad loans from SBI versus the actual numbers published by the banks, that was one of the reasons. The anticipated bad loans was roughly about 50,000 crores, and the bad loan numbers published by the State Bank at this point of time is around 33,000 crores, which is much lesser than what was anticipated. This is one of the reasons that markets took SBI results as strongly positive. The domestic advances and loans by the bank improved by about 4.8%, which is about 70,46,389 crores. That is a very big number. And non-interest income from SBI rose about 4.6%, which is about 12,495 crores. So let's have a look at insolvency bankruptcy code and Bhushan Steel. So what is this insolvency bankruptcy code? It has an insolvency regulator which will have about 10 board members. The board members will be from lawmakers from the Finance Ministry, Law Ministry, and members of the Reserve Bank of India, RBI. The insolvency bankruptcy code was passed in the Parliament in 2016, and it has come to effect. It has an insolvency resolution process where companies are expected to close the resolution in about 180 days. This 180 days can be extended by about 90 days, which means that by this time the insolvency resolution should have been completed, and all the creditors and debtors, they all must have been settled by this time. So for startups and companies with assets less than 1 crore, it is about 90 days with an extension of 45 days. This insolvency proceedings will be carried out by insolvency professionals who are licensed. And the bankruptcy and insolvency adjudicator, there are two bodies that handle this. The National Company Law Tribunal, which is NCLT for companies, and Debt Recovery Tribunal for individuals and partnerships. So Bhushan Steel was handled by the NCLT when it declared insolvency. So now let's have a look at Bhushan Steel. Bhushan Steel is one of the largest manufacturer of auto-grade steel in India. It had a very high debt ratio to equity, which is about 1:3, and it declared insolvency a while ago. A consortium of banks led by SBI, which included Punjab National Bank and ICICI as well, claimed roughly about 56,000 crores in debt. Tata Steel acquired Bhushan Steel recently by agreeing to pay about 32,500 crores, which is about 63% to its creditors. Which actually means that the banks which had lent money to Bhushan Steel would recover about 63% of the losses that they would have had to write off. After this acquisition news was announced, Punjab National Bank rose about 4.6%. Punjab National Bank in the recent past has been doing very badly because of very bad fourth quarter results for the last year, and writing off like 13,000 crores towards this Nirav Modi scandal. And State Bank of India rose about 2.4%. The State Bank of India was the biggest beneficiary. It would get about 1,300 crores because of Bhushan Steel acquisition by Tata Steel, and equity for the remaining amount that is not being paid. Bhushan Steel acquisition by Tata Steel is considered the first big success after the insolvency bankruptcy code came into play. So after this acquisition was announced, SBI actually started recovering from its lows earlier. Should you buy SBI now? The long-term prospect for SBI seems pretty good right now. Most brokerages and analysts have a buy call for SBI. Stock price was trading around above the 50-day double exponential moving average and the 100 DMA average. Let's have a look at the charts. So this is the State Bank of India charts that we are looking at. If you can see this as of last year, November, December and all, State Bank was really doing well. At this point of time, it was about 337, if you can see, and another high that we have here is about 320. So the stock was really around this range, 320, 337, and it started slowly declining. And this was around the time November 2017. And then comes the third quarter results, and State Bank of India starts declining after January 25, 2018. It starts declining, and at this point of time, it was at around 313 rupees. It had slid down from 313 rupees and to a low of roughly about 238 rupees before the results for the fourth quarter were announced. So State Bank had really been at a much better number, and it had slid to about 238 before the results were announced. The results were announced, and after the results were announced, you can see these are the last 3 days, and you can see the volume of shares that has been traded as well here. The number of shares that has been traded for State Bank also seems to be pretty high. So on 22nd December, which is when the State Bank of India shares, the results were announced, the price opened at 243, and it went till a high of about 259, and it closed about 253, and which is roughly about 4%. And the next day, which is yesterday, again it opened at 254 and had a high of 269 and closed at 263, which is again 4% from the previous day. And this also, if you see, it's about it opens at 263 and closes at 268, but hitting a high of 269. This also is roughly about 4%. So in all 3 days put together, State Bank has increased roughly close to about 12%. So this is how the share price has actually traversed through after the results have been announced, and you can also see how the share prices are before the results were announced. SBI steadily came down, and after the results were announced, it has gone up. Now let's go back to the slides. State Bank is up about 12% already. So at this point of time, should we consider a buy for State Bank? State Bank is the biggest bank in India, and it has the largest amount of loans given and the largest number of customers, largest number of branches. It is considered very stable, and now that all those bad loans are getting resolved, State Bank appears to be a very good investment item for a long-term period. So thank you for watching this edition of State Bank quarterly results analysis from Brokerage Free. Invest wisely for a better future. Thank you.